Welcome to the Audiobook Lovin Series, a month-long event celebrating the authors and narrators that bring romance stories to life. Listen along as Viviana, Enchantress of Books, interviews your favorite writers and voices, shares special guest posts, and stay tuned for some special information at the conclusion of the episode.
Hi, everyone. Today, I have the pleasure of chatting with guest and narrator Lance Greenfield. Welcome back to Audiobook Lovin, Lance. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thanks. Great that I'm talking to you now, so this is perfect. Totally made my day, and actually I was like, oh, yay, anticipation. So it was good. It's been a good day. For those that are new to the Audiobook Lovin family, Lance has been part of the audiobook series in previous years. However, this is his first audio interview with us. So I've included the links to the previous posts for listeners to check them out and catch up. And because we've had him technically in writing, but still had him before, things like the routine questions about how to prep a book and all that stuff will not be included in this because he's already answered those. So today we're just catching up. So Lance, with all that said, can you let us know a little bit about yourself, how long you've been narrating, and how you got started?
Absolutely. I started narrating 6 years ago. I'm very good with dates. It was February 3rd, 2015. I had reached out to Brick Shop Audio in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Fantastic studio in Industry City. That's what the big building is called. And I'd reached out to them just expressing interest for narration. I'd like to think I've been a good storyteller my whole life. I fell in love with scary stories to tell in the dark when I was a wee one by Alvin Schwartz, and hearing George S. Irving's narration of that, even in second grade, just like lit a fire in me. Like I wanted to do this in some capacity. So I got wind of an opportunity to I got wind of an opportunity to make that happen, and I reached out to them. They liked the sample I sent, and I came in, recorded an audition for 4 books, and I was very lucky to get 2. One of them was Resist Me by Shel Bliss, and she and I have been working together ever since. She's lovely. Is there anything else to that question? I think
you got it. When did you start it? How long you've been narrating? A little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I am an actor as well. I am trying to build up more of a reputation in film and TV. I've done plenty of stage stuff, but I think film, TV, spoken word is where I fit best, especially now.
True.
Yeah. Although Broadway is going to slowly start opening back up in the fall, but I've heard some naysayers say that most of the shows that reopen are, inevitably going to close right away because they just won't be able to recoup their investment, and
yeah.
I call them naysayers, but I do think that is likely.
Well, it's uncharted territory right now.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's at least they're trying. I think if anything in life, I think it's a positive. Instead of just saying no, let's just give it a try. Or like I like to say, even if you know you're going to fail, or you think there might be some percentage of failure, let it be an epic failure. Learn and move on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think they'll find a way to make it work. I don't know, but yeah, hopefully that can slowly start to come back to life again, because I miss it. I really do.
Yeah, I need to. I love the theater, and it'd be great to be able to go back to New York and watch something there again. Did it years ago, but I guess the whole concept of being back to the swing of things and having the actors be able to work and things like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Law and Order made a big push to hire as many Broadway actors as they can,
Good.
and I just think that's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned about starting in 2015. I was going back. I'm like, which was my first Lance book? And I'm like, oh, that's right. It was the Kristen Ashley one, The Complicated.
That was 2 years later, and
Yeah.
that was my second book, like with Audible.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a fun one.
It was. And I think that's also where I figured, the whole thing, like even with Erin, I think the two of you were I mean, for you, you were new to me. For her, I think I might have listened to something else, but didn't put two and two together that it was the same. Cause sometimes you guys sound different, even though you're under the same name. But that was my first, I was like trying to figure that out. I'm going, no, that's right. It was complicated. I love that book.
Yeah.
Hmm. So when last year, when we did the interview and writing, you weren't narrating full time. Is that where you're still at right now, or are you narrating full time?
I am happy to say I am narrating full time.
Nice.
Yeah. So one of the good things to
Mhm.
come out of lockdown. So before that, I was, doing the actor hustle.
Mhm.
Sounds like a dance. Of waiting tables, and on days off, going into narrate. Be
Mhm.
it my go-to obviously was Brick Shop, but when I was in Manhattan, it was Audio Media, and that's on 27th Street. Terrific facilities, very professional staff, and that was actually where I did Complicated, and
Mhm.
they just get the best work out of you possible. Um, but yeah, COVID came along and just completely took going into the studio out of the picture, and I had to um, cobble together some sort of home studio with the resources I had at the time, and it was janky starting out. I mean, the work that came out of it ended up fortunately sounding great. Uh,
Mhm.
I mean, the studios wouldn't accept,
Otherwise,
subpar
yeah.
sounding work. Yeah. So I mean, it was a lot of blankets. If they could hear little, sound waves, coming off the walls, if they could hear the fan going,
Mhm.
then they'd ask you to do something again. And eventually, I soundproofed it enough that I was able to really kick off like a series of books during lockdown. And then in the fall, when I moved, I got some PVC pipe, uh, some soundproof blankets, and I built myself a pretty legit sound booth. And I mean, it's roomier. That's certainly nice. I don't feel boxed in or cramped. Uh, so it's
Nice.
much more comfortable now. But yes, full time.
That's great. Yeah, I know those booths because of I know there's a need for it to be so soundproof and make sure that everything doesn't reverberate. But those things are tiny. And if you're tall or just even if you were small, just in the same room for a bunch of hours, it's just like claustrophobic to a point.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm 6'3",
Oh boy.
uh, and yeah, so one of the booths in Brick Shop was called the Brick Box, and it's very tiny, and I would have trouble turning sometimes. It's best for people of the smaller persuasion.
Yeah. And now I have an image of you sitting on the floor and recording because why need a chair when you're that tall? As you've been narrating for quite some time now, what
Yeah,
aspect of the audiobook community has surprised you?
I think the fans and just the passion, the enthusiasm. Um, it's just a beautiful thing to see. I mean, these groups like this, and my Instagram, the amount of follows I've gotten on that, people liking, sharing my posts, just the passion, the love, and the enthusiasm has been the most surprising to me. Uh, I just haven't seen anything like it in my day-to-day life.
That's nice. That's good.
Of course.
Yeah, I think the fans are great, and they are very supportive of the narrators that they love, especially in romance. That's definitely something that we find here more so than any other place in other genres, right? So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in any other genre.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's okay. I think it's that whole concept of the romance and the community building, and it's so great. So I'm glad that you've been having a good experience. You mentioned Instagram, and I know that you originally had a Facebook page, but you weren't really active there. And then you went over to Instagram, and you've been more active than in previous years. What made you decide to get more active on social media?
I think that interview back in October, where
Hmm.
I really got to meet the fans
Hmm.
and just get a feel for, like I said, that very palpable passion. Um, it just made me want to connect more. And Aaron Mallon presented me with the opportunity to create an Instagram, and I quickly found that for me personally, it's just a much better fit. It's much easier for me to use as a tool for marketing. I'd been doing, I'm sure you've seen it. I've been doing this book of the day thing, which was
Yeah,
really
I
fun.
love it. Yeah.
um I don't know if you've seen, but I have run out.
Yes, I saw it and going, ooh. I'm like, give it another day. Something will publish any minute now.
Oh yeah. And there's some holiday ones, but I'm not going to post those now.
Yeah.
But that's been really fun, and I just like it better than Facebook.
Hmm.
Um, um, you'd said something to the effect of don't get rid of Facebook altogether, but just where I was at the time,
Hmm.
I was like, no, like you don't understand. I want out.
Yeah. No,
Um,
trust me. I know.
uh, but yeah, I just really like Instagram a lot. I
Hmm.
think it's where I fit best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's and also great just to have you there to share and connect and have the listeners see what's coming out, you cross promoting with the authors and just be able to pop in and say hi. That because of all this world that we're currently living in, I think there's a bigger desire and even a need for for human connection. And even though it's through social media, it's still there. So it's awesome that I was really happy when you went over to Instagram, and I was like, yay.
Yeah, me too.
In these books of romance, you play different types of characters, the sweet guy, the alpha, the next door neighbor. What is your favorite type of character to play?
I think now and again you get like more of an underdog type character.
Hmm.
Not just Navy SEALs and billionaires deserve love.
Absolutely.
uh, jerking your chain.
No, I know.
Um, but there was this one I did a couple years ago called Speakeasy, and the main character was a brewer of beer in Vermont, and he was a struggling businessman, trying to keep his business afloat, and the female love interest was a recovering alcoholic, and I think 3 years ago, so I maybe
Oh,
no. What he did for her, I'm sorry to talk over you. uh oh, go ahead. What were you gonna
no, I
say?
was looking up the book for you.
Okay. He devotes like a lot of care into making a non-alcoholic beer just for her, and that just really stuck out to me as being very thoughtful, very nice. He didn't need to uh, he didn't need to spend $1 billion to show her some grand romantic gesture. He just did something that really came from the heart, and I thought that was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was Speakeasy from by Serena Bowen, and that's part of the True North series that they do. It's these characters are always interesting. They all have something, but I always laugh with some of my narrator friends, and I'm like, "So, what are you doing today?" And some of them are like, "Well, I'm breaking out of jail," and or they'll say, "Hopping on the jets," and going, "Oh, to live the life." goes, from the booth. I'm like, yeah, but still, it's, something new. But it is good. And, we love those moments where it's just something so minor, whether it's making breakfast or doing something like this, that it's just more real day-to-day kind of thing versus jumping off on the jet for dinner somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Within romance, we have different genres, and because romance is like an umbrella term, and we have the subgenres underneath it. So we have the paranormal romance, the contemporary romance, fantasy, historical, so on and so forth. Is there a genre that you have yet to narrate in that you want to?
That's tough. I've been pretty much all over the map. I've done the vampire. I've even done a couple sci-fis under Lance. I haven't posted those because I don't know if a sci-fi is really like the listeners' like cup of tea. Like there is some love in it, but put it this way: I had posted like a paranormal mystery, and it didn't get a lot of buzz. It just wasn't the listener's cup of tea. So I figured, all right, that's not what they're into. I won't post the sci-fi ones. But God, it's tough to say. I mean, I did one with where I played a vegan werewolf who was in love with a homicidal maniac mermaid. Historical romance. That's one I haven't done. And many years ago, actually, I was in high school, and I was at a dollar store with my friends, and there was one book for sale called Commanded to His Bed, and it was like set in the time of Lord Byron, and I picked it up and started reading, and who would have known?
Oh wow, who would have thunk? That's for sure. Wow.
Yeah.
And the fact that you remember the title, your memory right now is like astonishing. The dates, this stuff, I was like, bro, he's good with his memory.
Yeah, there's a lot that the gray matter in my brain can soak up.
That's good. Along the lines of the genres are the tropes, the friends to lovers, the enemies, from enemies to lovers and things like that. Do you have one that you like to narrate?
I think enemies to lovers.
Okay.
I've always been a sucker for, seeing people's walls come down, seeing them or hearing them realize that they don't have to have their guard up so much, and that they can just be a person and be vulnerable. And maybe they'll get hurt, or maybe it'll really work out. Just seeing them get to a place where they can take that chance, I've always found really beautiful.
Oh. So we thought it would be fun to get some questions from listeners, and we reached out to your official fan group, Lance's Rebels, and asked them to submit questions for you.
All right.
Yeah, they were really excited about the opportunity and came up with some really great questions. So we're going to start now.
All right.
Yeah, Karen wants to know, what's something people would be surprised to learn about your process or about audiobook narration in general?
About my process. Well, thank God the camera's not on. There is a vocal warm-up where, are you familiar with the shake weight?
Not by that name, but I know sometimes you guys do stuff, but do tell.
Okay. So you put your hands together and you just rock them back and forth. It's a jaw exercise. I'm gonna do it for you right now. It's gonna sound really weird. From someone who deals with jaw tension, that's extremely helpful. God, what else? There are some warm-ups other warm-ups I like to do that are a bit odd. I learned this one from Wishful Drinking by Carrie Fisher, God rest her. All I want is a proper cup of coffee from a proper copper coffee pot. I may be off my dot, but I would like a proper cup of coffee from a proper copper coffee pot. Tin coffee pots and iron coffee pots, they're no use to me. If I can't have a proper cup of coffee from a proper copper coffee pot, I'll have a cup of tea. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. But yeah, nothing too unusual. I do try to just read, a page or two before I press record, because you just got to get used to speaking, even if you've been awake for several hours. One way to get warmed up is to just do the thing without recording it. I'm a big stickler for messing up. I get anxious about it sometimes, and if I just allow myself the freedom to just read a couple pages, if I make a mistake, don't stop, just keep going. I sort of can lose that fear of it, and I can be a lot more relaxed when the track is rolling.
That's cool. Do you record your bloopers?
I usually record over them, not deliberately. Well, yes, deliberately, because I don't want them on the actual track, and you have an engineer reach out to me and be like, "What the fuck is this?"
What? Yeah, that'd be definitely messing with the engineer. But I know I think it's interesting because the system that you guys use to record may not give you the easy ability to take that snippet and save it somewhere else, or if it does, I'm not sure if it does. But that'd be kind of cool. I think that listeners love to hear those, because you guys sometimes get funny on those bloopers with the ways and the words and what comes out of your mouth. It's like, ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna use that one.
There was a line from a book that lives in infamy for me. It was a term, chocolate wiggle, and I didn't know what it was, but I just conjured all these images of what it could be. And every time the engineer at Audible, him and I had a great rapport. He was just like, "I'm just gonna let this run. You take as many stabs at this as you need. Get all the laughs out until you get it." So I do have a 2-minute clip of me just trying to get this done. But I mean, I'm just fucked from the start. I just can't, I am laughing so hard you can hear my epiglottis just going up and down. But eventually I got it done. But yeah, now and again, yeah, you'll get a line like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's really funny how sometimes you're just in the middle of something and you either remember something and you start busting out laughing, or someone says something or a line, and then you just lose it, the laugh for laughing, and you're trying to composure, and it's just not happening, that you have to walk away. And when you're in a studio, that can be very difficult to do because you're there for a certain amount of time. At least at home, you have, it's home. You can do it later tonight if you need to, unless you're on deadline. Then you got to just suck it up, buttercup. But yeah, so chocolate wiggles. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a dance done when someone just has chocolate and just really loves it.
Okay.
I've started doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know we do the happy dance.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't think that it was going to be, now we have different dances for different things. Good to know. But yeah, we'll start that with the chocolate wiggles for those. Yeah, see, now I have to get you on Instagram one of these days doing that. Lance is like, I'm gonna kill you.
I want to get followers, not lose them.
Nah. Karen also asks that she realizes that you're offered books that sometimes you can't fit on your schedule, and what's the criteria for you to choose your projects?
Well, I have trouble sometimes saying no, and I do need to get better at it, because sometimes I can take on a little too much. But I guess I try to negotiate as much as I can. Like I'll feel them out to see how concrete is this deadline, and if they aren't able to make it work, like if they absolutely have to get the raw files by this date, I tell them unfortunately I can't do that, but thank you for reaching out. Don't be a stranger.
Hmm.
um, I'm about to work on a title with Lyric, and they were very gracious to extend the deadline to May 31st. They really wanted to work with me, which is just such a huge compliment. And I communicated to them that I do have my hands full with 5 titles for the month of May. Um, but if you are able to work with me uh, and I guess be a little flexible with the deadline, then I can fit this in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know from a freelancer perspective, it's always scary and just very tough to say no to things because you just don't know when the next project might come up. But asking those questions and saying, okay, I can't do it this date, but I can do it that date if that works, is really a good way to have these conversations. And you'd be surprised how many people are willing to hold off until, because they want their narrators. They know that the listeners are narrator motivated and they're happy. Granted, sometimes they can't and it can't happen, but most of the time I find that the authors are like, nah, it's okay. I really want Lance. And this is when we're doing it because that's when he's available. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never really had a problem with that. I
that's
mean,
good.
but yeah, there are times where I feel a little bit overwhelmed, but sometimes there's just stuff in my own life that has me less than relaxed, and it makes narrating a little bit harder, at which point I really do have to give myself a break. That's my problem. I don't give myself enough breaks.
Mhm.
I just sort of power through, and uh I think just giving myself that freedom would do me a lot of good.
Yeah. Well, Val had a question along the lines that she's like,
Yes.
what do you do to turn things around when you're having a bad audiobook narration day?
uh Sometimes you just need to assess where you are, and look at the deadline. I mean, is it due tomorrow, or do you have a couple days? And if you have a couple days, and you're having a really bad session today, it's perfectly all right to just walk away for now. If you must, continue, take an hour break, take a tea break, listen to your favorite podcast, and come back when you feel ready. I mean, there are days where uh I just mess up constantly, and I'm just very in my head, but the next day I'll get 2 hours done, and I can read for like 6 minutes straight, sometimes more, without a single mess up. So I mean, with that in mind, you have to think that a lot of it's just mental, and getting to that headspace where you can just read for minutes on end. That's just something that takes practice,
Hmm.
and just being nice to yourself, having some compassion for yourself, and taking breaks when you need to will really aid you.
Good. Yes. Self-care is important.
Yeah.
Including and that's inclusive of work. People sometimes they're like, oh, I'll go after work. I'm like, no, no, self-care includes work.
Yeah.
It's okay to stop for a minute or two. Go get that ice cream or go take a break and stretch out. Val also wanted to know if you had to pick one age to be permanently, which age would you choose and why?
Hmm. I think maybe 23. Um, I'm not someone who, pines after, his high school days or his college days, because I didn't really like school. Um, but that first year in New York, where I was, just figuring out how to be an actor, like I was taught how to act, uh, and obviously I continue learning how to act. But in school, they don't teach you how to be an actor. So just that phase of just learning how to do it, uh, where everything was just so exciting and new, and just going to all these places in the city where I've never been. Um, I think that might be where I that would be the age where I'd want to stay in,
Hmm.
and all the hope you feel. I'm still very hopeful now, uh, but I was really hopeful then.
When you're first starting out, it's that whole euphoria of I'm doing what I want to do, I'm doing what
Yes.
I'm dreaming about, and they're always telling you you can do it, it's within your reach, you just got to work really hard at it. And as we get older, sometimes we're like, I've been working at this for quite a while now, and not happening yet, where is this? And I'm like, where's the memo? But yeah, it's a good age, that's definitely a good age.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. Christy Reese is asking, is there a narrator or or author, excuse me, that you haven't worked with that you'd like to work with?
I think narrator wise, I think I've run the gamut.
Hmm.
Um, author. Nothing comes to mind right now.
Okay. That's fine. That's
I'm
a lot
sorry.
of no, there's a lot of authors out there. I was like, I would be the same, no worries. But if you think of it, you can post it on your Instagram account and just, we'll see it and we're going, oh, that's what he was. Okay, got it. Good.
I mean, maybe I haven't worked with the author because they don't like me, and
No.
I don't want to strong arm them with an Instagram post.
Oh no.
Give me a shot, man. No.
Yeah, I think that there is enough work for everyone when it comes down to audiobooks, that even if that's the case, you
Oh
can
yes.
still have that list of wishful, authors to work with. And sooner
Yeah.
or later, the path will cross because they'll need, someone in your category of narration. So it's good.
Yeah, and that's why other narrators are so fun to talk to,
Hmm.
because there's I never feel, at least I in my experience, I never feel like any competitiveness from people. Like we're just people who are doing this thing we enjoy, and we're not sizing each other up. I never get that feeling. We can just be friends. I think it's great.
Hmm.
It's a little tougher, in the acting world, for film and stage. Yeah, narration. It's a lot more like a family. There's more of a feeling of camaraderie.
Yeah. A lot of the narrators that I've spoken to have mentioned and said something along the lines of that. And I've had a few that are also acting and they're actors, and they say the same thing. It's not anywhere near like that in like the regular acting world, and narration's also so good about that. And you guys are not competitive. It must be hard for you guys though, considering in New York, a lot of you are living in that area. And Christy also had asked about like, how has life changed since COVID happened for you?
Uh, for me, life got a hell of a lot busier. Um, when you have a home studio, people just clamor to work with you because they know that you can. Your schedule is your own. You don't have to work around anybody, and you can deliver very quickly. And so, yeah, the phone, the proverbial phone, is really ringing.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, it it got crazy in 2020. It's getting crazy now.
Mhm.
Uh, but yes, so much busier. Um, and I love it. I love love not having to work in a restaurant anymore. I think I'm very thankful for that.
Mm-hmm. Leanne Shorts
Yeah.
says, "What is it?" See, this is where I would suck as a narrator. I hate reading out loud. What is it like recording things like Aaron Malice's play Branched and the bromantic comedies versus recording more in a solitary, situation for novels?
Well, I think the romantic comedies and Branched are truer to my roots. I started as an actor, and it was really refreshing to get to do that again. I'd been just narrating for a full year, and while that's been tremendously fun, I really missed just working on a scene with somebody and just reacting to somebody, getting to be an actor again. And Aaron Mallon offered me that opportunity, and I just had to jump at it. So
did you guys Zoom to record it, or did you just
we
do
did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we did. There was another audio play I did where everyone just recorded their own lines. That you weren't on a call with your scene partner, and I was a little worried about how that would sound, but I listened to the finished product. It came out great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you then say that duet narration is probably potentially like one of your favorites versus dual and solo because you get to act off each other?
I actually haven't done that. Yeah. Lauren Landish wanted to do a duet style with Carly Robbins and I, but then COVID happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't been able to do that yet. But I think that would be a blast. I think I've done something like a duet style narration. I just did a title that I wrapped up yesterday. Can't say it yet, but for the first time, I was reading the obviously my own chapters, but the male lines in the females chapters, and she would read the female lines in my chapters, and I'm anxious to anxious in a good way to hear how that comes out.
Cool. We'll have to look into that, and then you'll share it once you are able to post it and give us the info, because I think that's where the audiobook world for romance right now is kind of trending to move into, is more of that duet narration where the characters are being voiced by the narrators across the whole book. And I think at first it became like, ooh, how are we going to do this now that we can't be in a room together? But Zoom has done wonders to be able to fix that, as well as, like you mentioned, having you do your own lines and then having the other person and then the engineer does its magic combines. Yeah.
I have heard I fall asleep to scary stories. There's a YouTube channel, Chilling Tales for Dark Nights, that is just wonderful and lives up to its name, let me tell you. And they will do that. Some of them will do that full cast production where a woman reads the female lines, a man reads the male lines, and it sounds great. So I think that will translate into romance very well. I'm sure there are plenty of listeners who would love to hear Aaron Mallon read her lines in my chapters than my female voice.
Hey, it's the just enough to say that it's a difference. I know that sometimes you have a deeper voice,
Yes.
and so it's hard for you to do that whole more, higher pitch and stuff. But I think that you do a really good job with just giving it just enough where we know that someone else is talking and have it consistent so we figure out who it is. But it's tough for the guys, especially the ones that have the deeper voice. So I definitely do not feel that,
Yeah, there was a day where I just had to give myself a pep talk. It's like, you are trying way too hard to sound like a real girl. Like, of course, the listeners know that like a girl is not reading these lines. They know it's you. Just raise your voice a little bit just so they can suspend their disbelief enough to, picture the female love interest reading those lines. Like, you don't have to hurt yourself doing this, because that is tough to maintain. Like, if you just read it like this, like I think that's a happy medium for a female voice. I just re-listened to These Walls Can Talk by Aaron Mallon, and the male narrator character, it goes like this.
Yep.
And she's just like, oh, his female voices really are awful.
Yeah, it's a learning curve when you first start until you figure that out, and it's good when people can help you with that, as far as like a coach, or if you read those, or your peers.
I wandered into that hornet's nest once. I'll never do it again.
Oh, no.
I
do not advise that.
Cannot please everybody.
No, and even if you were perfection, it's still, you wouldn't please everybody. So that's where it's important for you to do you and do it the way that you feel that is the best to do it. But I want to go back a little bit about, you fall asleep to horror stories?
Oh yeah. And here's one reason for that. I find that because most of them are just riveting, so I want to listen to as much as I possibly can. If there's a really good one, the harder I try to stay awake to hear it, the more likely I am to fall asleep. And the melatonin helps. But yeah, it's a little weird ritual I've crafted for myself. Apparently, a lot of people do it.
I've heard about listening to audiobooks to try to fall asleep. There's an app called Sleepiness, where the narrators are reading you bedtime stories in a very soft and calming, soothing kind of a voice, but not specifically horror. So, and you were saying it was the Chilling Tales for the Dark Night was the name of that podcast?
Chilling Tales for Dark Nights.
For Dark Nights.
Oh, they've got so much good stuff. There's one called The Stump, and it's narrated by this guy Jason Hill, who is just excellent. And that's a freaky one.
Well, we learned something new. You like horror stories and you like horror stuff. Is it the kind of like the popping out of nowhere from behind something, or is it more of the anticipate, the high anticipation, or is it the gore? Because there's like 3 different types of horror sometimes.
The slow burn creepy. One weird thing I like to do when I'm in bed is like get into the headspace where like there's like a monster in my house, and like how still can I stay in my bed? Like, can I school my breathing so it's not too loud? It's like hiding from the creature. It's weird as hell, I know.
Do you have a puppy, a doggy, or
I don't.
Cat?
I don't.
That might be a good idea. Oh wow. No, I mean, we all have that, that nightmare about the boogeyman underneath the bed and what would happen, but you're purposely doing that. Okay. The reason why I mentioned the dog or the cat is because I have them. And sometimes you don't think that they're in the room with you, and then they will jump on the bed out of nowhere, and you're going, motherfucker. Or you're in that daze of you're just about to fall asleep, and you feel something crawling around your leg, and you're going, what the fuck is that? Oh, that's right, it's the cat. Okay, like that could help with that, horror thing that you like. Goodness, boy. Also, Leanne wants to know if you could narrate a biography or a memoir.
Okay.
For any person, living or dead, written or unwritten yet, who would it be that you would choose to narrate?
Probably Freddie Mercury. Queen is one of my all-time favorite bands, and I remember following them just religiously in high school. I mean, Freddie Mercury was long dead when I was in high school, but yeah, I got their Live at Wembley DVD and
Mm-hmm.
was just, I mean, bewitched by his stage presence. I mean, he had 200,000 people in the palm of his hand. And if I could tell the story of just how he got there and how unfortunately his illness came about, and talk about what he left behind, uh, that would be a tremendous privilege.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And I love how you're like, I was, he was long gone and passed away. Unfortunately, when I started listening to it, I'm going, it's okay. No one's going to call you old. You're good.
It'll be 30 years in November.
Oh, you're just a baby.
No, he will have been gone for 30 years.
Oh, he would have been gone for 30 years. I thought you were saying
I'm 31.
You're still a fucking baby.
Yes.
Shut it. Some of us are older. Hush. Alyssa wants to ask, what is your favorite part about being a narrator?
Getting to connect with that desire that was awoken in me at a young age to tell stories. It's something I've always loved to do, and to get to do it and make a living doing it is something I feel really, really lucky for. I mean, getting to pay my rent, all my bills, feed myself with money I made narrating. It's really incredible. Yeah, I've always loved telling stories.
Okay. Michelle Bastard has a very important question.
Okay.
Favorite type of food?
Favorite type of food?
Yeah, Chinese, Greek, Latin, Indian, Japanese.
Japanese. But it's obviously so expensive. You can't do it too often. So it's once in a while. It is like a present you give to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm experimenting with like different steak recipes. I want to eventually make a steak au poivre, which is steak with this peppercorn cream sauce that I had once a couple years ago that just blew me away. So I want to see if I can hack it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I cook for myself all the time. I love it. Turn on a podcast, turn on some comedy, and just lose myself in cooking. It's one of my favorite activities.
It's very relaxing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you bake at all?
I don't bake.
Okay.
But there are a couple like cheesy bread type things I want to mess around with.
Yeah, that usually people are either the baker or the savory cook. And the bakers are always very much, it's a science. You have to be precise in everything. And to me, that gives me anxiety, because if you forget to add the baking soda, that pumpkin bread won't rise. Experience. Yep. And you're going, what the fuck happened? And then you're going through the checklist and you're going, fudge, I forgot that one. Yeah. Is there a favorite dish that you like to eat?
Oh, that's tough. I'm gonna be basic and say pizza. I know that's not. Well, no. My favorite meal is New York strip, sliced widthwise, as in like you slice like down the steak, with garlic rice on the side. And there's a Whole Foods near me. They have a red pepper romesco, which is amazing on top of a steak. And yeah, that's an incredible combination.
Nice. That's good. So it's a foodie we have here too. That's good.
Oh, hardly.
Well, we've been kind of stuck where we are right now. And so we've developed new skill sets. We figured out, hey, this is actually fun. And, when you can't go out to restaurants a whole lot, you learn how to cook. Otherwise, you're having things delivered a whole lot. And even then that's limiting. So it's good when you can cook. Again, it's relaxing. Kelly Love wants to ask, who is your favorite Disney character and why?
Who's my favorite Disney character? The Emperor's New Groove is Disney, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Kronk is my favorite Disney character. I think Patrick Warburton was his voice actor. I could be wrong about that. Let me see. Let me hop on IMDb Pro. Emperor's New Groove. But yeah, I just loved him because I can empathize with the goofy big guy who just wants to lift up those around him, and just make them laugh.
Mhm.
I've always sort of been that guy. Where is it? There it is. God, this movie came out 21 years ago.
Ugh.
Yep, Patrick Warburton.
Okay.
And I just want to quickly correct myself. It might have been confusing the way I said how I like to cut my steak. I said like widthwise. The proper term is against the grain.
Okay.
Yeah. So in case you want to try that out.
What was that dish that you were saying that you're trying to do with the steak and the peppered?
Steak au poivre. So obviously the word is a steak, and AUPOIVRE.
Okay. The French dish, tradition of filet mignon coated with a parsley crack. Oh, you just make a bechamel sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done one of those before?
What is that?
A bechamel sauce?
No. I'm trying to level up, as a amateur cook, and try more challenging recipes.
A bechamel sauce is literally just the start of any kind of sauces. So like if you were making a mac and cheese,
yes,
you would start off with the bechamel sauce, which is the creamy part. So you're just melting butter and getting some flour and making the roux. And then from there you add the cream, usually half and half, and then it goes from there depending on what you want to do. A fettuccine alfredo, if you wanted to do a mac and cheese, if you wanted to do this, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. We can talk after that because
yes,
I can help you that. I've made this in school before. So
okay.
it'll be fun. If you could become one of your characters from the books that you've narrated, which lifestyle would you like to lead and why? Rock star, CEO, outlaw, athlete,
I think a prince. Definitely a prince. Because I don't have to do the work of the CEO. And I mean, it's you're a prince and people just fawn over you. Like that's got to be nice. So I think maybe I'd like to be the prince, or even the beer brewer that I mentioned earlier. But no, the prince.
The prince.
Path of least resistance.
I was going to say, you mentioned there was a little bit of struggle going on in that business. But yeah, a prince. So good. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So that's everybody's questions from the group. Just a few more here. So what song do you have to sing along with when you hear it?
Oh God, let me look through. Rockbox by Run DMC. That's one that I will sing along to.
Okay. No matter where it is, if it comes up, you're like busting it out.
Oh yeah. But to save people from having to hear that, I'll listen to it, when I'm cooking.
Okay.
You're the kind of guy that girls ignore. I'd drive a caddy you're fixing a Ford.
Not bad.
Great line.
Yeah, that is a great line. What's your favorite word?
Perspicacity. I've in my younger days have doled that one out to sound smarter than I am. And the people who heard it, were impressed, while they were thinking inside like, oh, this little windbag can't just say keenness, because that is what it means, keenness. But yeah, that's my favorite word.
Okay. What's your favorite curse word?
Gotta go with fuck. It's my go-to when I mess up. Like I'll be I'll be on a roll, just been reading for a couple minutes and suddenly I'll mess up and I'll dole out a nice fuck, just that middle U, just really lean into it, and it softens the blow of messing up because I can just express myself right away and move on. So yes, fuck is my favorite.
It's very versatile.
And weirdly enough, yes, absolutely. And the very first time I ever said fuck, funny story, I was in the back seat of my mom's van and I guess I'd heard the title Huckleberry Finn, and I was experimenting with replacing the H with other letters. So I'd be like Huckleberry Finn, Puckleberry Finn, Fuckleberry Finn, and my mom was like, Lance. And weirdly enough, it was my sister who told me that it was a bad word for farting. Yeah.
Siblings.
So like you better step away from me. I got to fuck real bad.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine if no one corrected me on that and I just I can't stop fucking. Why'd I eat so much?
Excuse me a moment. I have to go fuck over here. Oh, kids. Gotta love the kids and the siblings. Fuck.
Oh God, yeah. But yeah, fortunately I found out what it really means. I was going into 4th grade, so kids at that age are always posturing and cussing because it's cool.
Yeah.
So I learned what it meant.
Yeah. It's just part of the communication and what we see and what we learn, and we mirror and we mimic our parents and our family members and people around us. And when we hear something, that's why they always say, like, when you have kids or when you're around the kids, if they say a bad word, don't react to it because they think it's entertaining. And I'm not that person to be there then, because I will bust out laughing and say, this is how you use it instead. Because I'm that girl. So but yeah, no, I'm glad that you were finally told what that actually is. Otherwise, it would have been very, very interesting teenage years for you.
Oh God, yes.
Oh Lord. Oh my goodness. I like your sister though.
No, because she was only 2 years older than I was. I mean, she was just as clueless as me.
Yeah, I'm sure, but now that he remembers, he's like, no, that was a good one. So we've reached the part of the game of our segment where we get to play this new game that we've been doing. It's a 2 truths and a lie, where our guest tells us 3 things about themselves with, as the title says, 2 of them are true and 1's a lie, and we have to figure out which one's the lie. And I like to say we because I like to believe that our listeners are playing along with me. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. 2 truths and a lie. My favorite show is Everybody Loves Raymond. I've never been to Europe. I know martial arts.
Oh boy. Never been to Europe. I'm writing these down. So favorite shows, Everybody Loves Raymond, never been to Europe, or martial arts. I want to say the truth is that martial arts.
Do I answer now?
Yeah, you can answer.
Okay,
now.
Yeah, that's true.
What style?
Jiu-jitsu, some kickboxing. I haven't practiced in years, but I remember a lot of it. And wrestling, I do consider a martial art.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I have my black belt in Taekwondo.
Nice.
Yeah.
You ever seen the movie The Foot Fist Way?
Probably, and just not remembering it right now. There was a lot of movies that we watched growing up that were, but yeah.
Well, this
Why?
one's from '06. It's about Taekwondo. I think you
Oh,
get some laughs out of it.
oh, okay. I'm gonna look that up. Got it. Okay, so now we have favorite show, and then never been to Europe. Crap. Um, Never been to Europe is the lie.
Yes. Yeah. I went to, at the time, it was a part of Europe, London and Paris. When I was a kid with my family. Would love to go back. I would love to see Scandinavia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I got a new passport last year. Gotta take advantage of it when things ease up a little bit. I am fully vaccinated now.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm getting my second dose tomorrow.
Congratulations. Yeah, I got hit with like a sudden wave of fatigue today.
Oh no.
Yeah, but you know, I won't let it stop me from the interview. But yeah, if there were moments where it took me a little long to reply, it's like that's why I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that's the way it hit me. I don't feel like hotter, like no fever, but yeah, I recorded a TV audition, and then suddenly my eyes felt like little 1 pound balls in my head.
Oh boy.
Um,
Did you get the shot today, or was it like a day or two ago?
Saturday, I got it.
Saturday. Okay.
But yeah, when traveling, opens up a little more and things are a little less psychotic, I would love to go to Europe again and just see what I've been missing all these years. But yes, Scandinavia is one region I'm particularly curious about.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's good. Okay, so one of your favorite shows is Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Peter Boyle is Frank,
Yeah.
Doris Roberts is Marie. It doesn't get any better than that.
No, it's a great show.
Yeah.
It's a really good show. Cool. Well, that was not bad. I hope so. Listeners, let us know how you guys did in the comments for this podcast. See if you guys guessed correctly what the lie was, and let's chat about that because, yeah, that was good. Lance, before we go, can you tell us a little bit about what you're currently working on, if you can share, and what's coming up next for you?
Well, I just finished that title I'd mentioned. Not sure I can say the name yet, so I'm just going to err on the side of caution and save the announcement for later. I have a couple titles from Audible coming up as part of the Cocky Hero series. Bossy Burglar is coming out on the 18th, and Seductive Scoundrel is coming out in early June, and I will be sure to announce that in my Instagram. If you haven't followed me yet, you can find me at lance.greenfield. That's my handle. And I look forward to having you on my page.
So I have here I have pulled up Audible, and it says that the Bossy Burglar is coming out on the 6th of June.
Did I get them mixed up?
I don't know. That's the only one that's showing as of right now, and that's coming out in June. So it could be that they changed the dates, or
no. My Cruel Salvation. I got them mixed up. That is by Jay Kenner. It's part of her Devlin Saint series.
Okay.
It's, I believe, the third book, I think. And yes, that's coming out the 18th. And yes, Bossy Burglar comes out in June. Sorry about that.
Okay.
And I believe Seductive Scoundrel will be out in the same month. I've got to check that out. In fact, I just recorded pickups for that book today.
Cool.
So they've got what they need from me now.
I just got to put it out there.
Yeah.
That's been a little difficult for them sometimes, but hey, it happens. We have books to listen to. It's okay. Things to keep us entertained.
Oh, well, there's a lot out there.
Thank you, Lance, for returning to this year's Audiobook Lovin Series. Greatly appreciate it.
Of course.
And everyone, thank you for hanging out with us today. And we hope you've enjoyed this interview as well as the series. And until next time, happy listenings.
Thank you, everybody.
The Audiobook Lovin podcast has special Patreon incentives. Join today to receive early access to podcast episodes, exclusive content with our guests, and much more. Support the podcast by becoming a Patreon at www.patreon.com/audiobooklovin. Thank you for your support. Thank you for joining us on the Audiobook Lovin Series, hosted by Viviana, Enchantress of Books. We hope you have enjoyed this episode as well as the series. We've included audio samples of our guests' work within the post for you to check out. Please make sure to visit the main page, link within the post, to learn more about the series, the authors, and the narrators. Please consider leaving a review wherever you listen to this series if you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to follow us on our social media platforms and subscribe to the Viviana, Enchantress of Books newsletter. Until next time, happy listening. Audiobook Lovin hopes you've enjoyed this program.